And yes, so I judged others quite intensely. I judged their eating habits, their mental habits, their acts, their behaviors. There's really nothing to gain from judgment. You will experience those low vibration emotions, such as maybe anger, a little bit of hate, jealousy, envy. And those are not the emotions, feelings that you want to cultivate. You want to cultivate the higher level emotions, the love, the compassion, the joy. And over time, as you practice, come into your spiritual practice, so when you feel your mind starting to go off in one of those vibrations, in one of those thoughts or feelings, notice it, catch yourself, and say, no, I'm going to hold compassionate space for this person. And over time, it will get easier, and it will become natural. So you're conditioning your brain, literally changing your brain chemistry to feel what you want to feel, such as compassion. And I don't think there's a more powerful practice than the cultivating of compassion through non-judgment. But the question is, how can one get out of the night to experience much more profound way of living? And it really comes down to letting go, just completely surrendering. And it's often when things are so dark, you don't think they can get any worse. And for me, it was actually tears. I had a cry, and I just surrendered. I just didn't care anymore. I just let go. I accepted it. And then right then and there is when the whatever burden I had placed on myself lifted. And that was the beginning of something profound for me. Profound growth in many areas of life. Relationships, the way I see the world. Actively cultivating compassion, love, spaciousness. Everything is so beautiful. The trees. And it seems like just in the seeing of a tree, I can somehow understand the nature of reality. I know it seems weird, but it's interesting that when the mind lets go of all the chatter, all the mind chatter, and you actually start to cultivate some focus, concentration, which is sometimes is what meditation and yoga help cultivate, you actually begin to see things as they are. So you're not projecting previous conceptions, previous beliefs onto person, objects, ideas, anything. You're truly experiencing things as they are. And that can be a beautiful thing. So just let experience happen. Having a regular meditation practice, maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week, where you sit for 15, 20 minutes in silence, and you notice the mind begins to wander, and you bring it back, correct? Back to the breath, cultivating focus. And it takes practice, just like anything. Some will have more difficulty than others. But when one cultivates the ability to focus, maybe just for a few breaths, things seem to slow down. There's a new skillfulness to life. You start to see patterns in your own consciousness, habitual thoughts, habitual patterns. In seeing them, you can make a conscious decision if you want to let them go. To recap a little bit, how to get out of the night of the soul if you're experiencing it, which if you're here watching this, there's a chance you may be, or even more so important, you may know someone that is experiencing it. And the only advice I could give is hold compassionate space for them. When they're ready, they will come through it. So to come out it's less of a doing. It's more of an undoing. It's more of a letting go. Find contentment where you are in life, and things will lighten up. And once you come out, it's important to have a regular practice, a sadhana, spiritual practice. And this practice, this spiritual practice, can bring you back to what's important. And it's usually going to be a practice of appreciating life force, of what some would call God, the universe, you could say, the thing that manifests, the awareness that has manifest all form. And once you have this experience of being just the form and actually being the awareness, you have a new sense. You can come back into the world with things are a little lighter. Suddenly, things don't seem so important. You can truly see, you can see the awe in all things, which is every day, the tree, the animal, the person that's going through the same thing you are, that's experiencing. You can appreciate that much more. So you may have a regular a practice of meditation, yoga, spiritual chanting called kirtan. That's a very yogic approach. And this approach focuses the mind so the ego can quiet. But there's other methods. You can go to church to praise that which has given you form and life force. Or you can volunteer. But it's really about finding your truth, your highest truth. And you'll know it when you find it. Don't let and the thing is, mind will not help you find your highest truth. It will be a knowing, a feeling. You'll know it. So asking someone else will do no good. Going into deep thought about what you want to do with your life typically won't do it. You'll know it when it comes. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel connected. I don't know what it's called. I would call it God energy, when it moves through you and you know that you're living your life's purpose. So you want to, and even if that's not possible, let's say you have some tough circumstances, find contentment. Let go of the grasping, of the aversions, the things you're pushing away. No, that's not me. That's not my identity. Or the things you want to be, which are also not who you are. And just rest in your awareness and as the experiencer, and things will lighten up. So you may be wondering, well, what if it comes back? What if the night of the soul returns? What if I fall back into this depression, into this terrible time that I experienced? And you know what? That's a possibility. And so hold that as a possibility. That's okay. Because it's more likely that your aversion to not wanting to experience the night of the soul again would actually put you there. So be okay. Be in the present. And in the present is not, you're not living in the past. You're not living in regret. You're not thinking about how this person wronged you. You're not thinking about how you could have done it differently. And you're not living in the future, planning a future that doesn't exist. Or thinking, oh, I'll say this to this person when that person says this to me. Because it really is just a path of, it's probably not going to be very conducive of your growth, personal and spiritual growth. Living in the present, being in the flow, and you'll know it when you're in it. Is the way.